Hi everyone, I'm again back with a guest. Hi Jen, Jennifer Bleau from Vibe Credit Union. Jen, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you, Anurag?
I'm doing good. I'm in Boston today with a conference. At a conference, future branches. We're meeting like-minded friends, credit unions, and community banks across the nation. So yeah, this is again one of the episodes that I'm taking from the lobby bar. Though I don't think it's a bar. It's a lobby with a Starbucks. So yeah, it's again on the go. Jen, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate you and our guests. Our guests and audience have been very excited for this episode. It's been some time we've been chatting. We met, but we took some, rescheduling here and there to finally get this episode. Thank you for, your time today. I'll do a quick round of introduction, everyone, of Jen. I met Jen at Financial Brand. Thanks, Ron, that he requested you to join us at the breakfast. Thank you about that. So we met, and I reached out to Jen. That Jen, why don't you be a part of the podcast? And she was like, okay, I can be in the podcast. I was very happy about it. Quick introduction: Jen is the Chief Brand and Growth Officer with Vibe Credit Union. She's based out of Detroit, Michigan. Uh, Jen has an experience of close to 15 plus years across the credit union ecosystem, right? So she's worked for a couple of credit unions before joining Vibe. So she has that DNA inbuilt of people helping people, and that really helps her to uh, position Vibe as a member-centric credit union, right? Everything comes later. First is a member centricity. Being a marketing strategist, she leads all things brand and growth for right now. Jen, I'll take a pause. You can let my audience, and if I miss something, you can go ahead, complete any missing pieces to it.
Yes, no, thank you. No, you got it pretty spot on. I started a long time ago back as a teller, and my journey kind of led me here, which is nice. And then, so as Anurag said, I do lead the brand and growth initiatives, but also the community side. So it brings it kind of full circle, as you mentioned, with the people helping people philosophy.
Sounds good. So with that, let's kick our first question, right? So, Jen, what keeps you going? With such a long career of 15 years and reaching a C level at pretty young and pretty early part of your career. So, what keeps you going?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a lot that keeps me going, and I think honestly it has changed over the years. I accidentally fell into the credit union space, as a lot of us probably have. But I think from a marketing perspective, when you connect the people helping people to the work that you do,
Yep.
it's just a super rewarding field, super rewarding industry, and I think especially from the marketing perspective, when you can put forward, products and services all day long, but then when you're out in the community and you see the difference that you're making, I think that's honestly probably one of the things that
Mhm.
industry wide keeps all of us going.
Interesting. So that's good. Uh, Across the years, you've led multiple teams. Jen, it's not your first rodeo, right? Definitely. Now,
Right.
what, what are your typical leadership philosophies? I would say, right, that is under the hood, that leads your basic principles for guiding and leading a team. What are the must-haves that you have?
So for sure, empowerment. You want your team to feel empowered, right? We as leaders, we have a lot of different responsibilities, a lot that we need to accomplish. There's a lot of growth that needs to take place, especially in the credit union industry. So, trying to lead a team of empowered individuals who feel that they have the capability to make decisions on our behalf and really try and propel the credit union forward, because we do it as a team. Not one person can do it. And same thing with ownership. Ownership leads to accountability. So when you have empowerment and ownership, you really do have an easier time working with teams, and they feel more motivated because they know that they are in charge of, their success, the credit union success.
That's
And so I think those are two of the key elements for me that I try to instill in the teams that I work with. And you can see a lot of success from that.
sounds good. Yeah, I mean that's the cornerstone, right? Empowering people, trusting them, giving them that leeway that you can go and experiment, fail fast. I mean, fail fast, do it, but don't ever
Hmm.
fear on experimentation. Otherwise, if you remove the, I mean, I'm a science nerd, so experimentation is very important to me. So experimentation is very important to achieve anything great, and I think you're spot on over there, right? Now, since I meet lot of young female aspiring leaders, right? I mean, all of them are very inspired with this podcast. They tune into this podcast. Like they almost, I mean, I have a friend who was a senior analyst in a credit union. She tunes into this podcast every single day, right? And I mean, she has these questions that Anurag, what does it take for me to reach the C level of a credit union, right? Being a female leader, there are a lot of red. I wouldn't call them red tapes, but a lot of hurdles that a female leader has to overcome. I mean, traditionally it has been, now it's better, but still, I mean, can you maybe discuss or let my audience know, right? Your journey to leadership, being a female leader. Uh, I'm sure it was not bed of roses. So what has that been, and how should aspiring female leaders look into their career trajectory?
Yeah, so I think one key thing to remember is you really truly can never imagine or predict all of the challenges you might face along the way. I think for individuals who are looking to grow their career and maybe get to that certain level, it takes drive, it takes initiative. There is no pre-specified path that you can follow, unfortunately. I didn't have somebody hand me a book and say, if you want to be this, here's how you do it. You figure it out by taking on projects that maybe somebody else doesn't want to. You take on new tasks that you don't know how to do because you know you will figure it out.
Mhm.
Be a problem solver. You have to be the one that is kind of standing out and taking on some of the things to learn and grow.
Absolutely.
And I think even as a working parent or a working mom, I think it's important for everybody to know that you can have it all, but having it all doesn't necessarily mean that everything is perfectly in balance all the time. I think leaning on your support networks when one area needs a little bit more attention than the other is super important.
Mhm.
But you can be successful. You can have the career you want. You can do all the things. You just have to be able to recognize when it's time to make a slight shift in priority.
Absolutely. I mean that fine line of balance is very important, which you touched upon, and that's like very important. Absolutely. Uh, Now switching gears a bit, right on the topic. I mean, I'm a data guy. That's what I understand. Geek. That's a problem. At many times, I have not been able to communicate with other people because I'm a geek, so can't help. So, I mean, I always keep on asking, not out on a single thing of data, right? So at Vibe, what is the journey for data-driven decisioning? Or how does the culture look like, and what does roadmap look like? I mean, from using business intelligence, I mean, I call a journey of VI to AI, right? Essentially, fix your data first, build the business intelligence function, followed by advanced analytics, predictive analytics, and then think about AI, right? So I mean, where is Vibe on that journey from BI to AI, and what does the roadmap look like?
Yeah, so we are our hands are dirty at the moment, right? We have a lot going on in that space. We created a business intelligence department not too long ago where we have all of our data in-house that we are working with other partners for predictive analytics, predictive modeling, and then really using that to better personalize the experience for the member,
Hmm.
and any of our outreach, all of our communications. And so that really is a standing item on our roadmap for the foreseeable future. So the next step in that, of course, is working in AI. What does that strategy look like? Setting that strategy and then moving forward, but then being aware that
Hmm.
this things change so rapidly,
Hmm.
that we will have to pivot. We inevitably will have to make changes along the way. Um, but very heavy into the data, and really truly trying to use it to the best of our ability to really personalize that member experience.
Absolutely. I think that's worth a geeky conversation with you later sometime, right? Because, I mean, I want to understand where you guys are, right?
Yeah.
And absolutely, that's interesting. And I asked this question because I'm personally really proud of what my female colleagues in the industry have been able to achieve. So that's the reason I asked this question to everyone, and obviously I'll ask the same exact question to you, right? Jen, do you want to talk about a few successful initiatives and projects that you are really proud of, right, throughout your career? Might be at Vibe, before Vibe, but can you talk about a few of them which were not easy to go, but which have resulted in amazing, fantastic results, and you're proud of, most importantly.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a ton of experience to draw on, obviously, but if I'm being completely honest, I started with Vibe about almost a year ago, about 10 months ago. And the amount of growth and change that has happened with me personally in that time, probably far surpasses the last 2 to 3 years. In that time, we launched our new vision and our values. We created what we're calling the Vibe Experience, and so that's really a cultural development, and that's internal. What does that experience look like, and then externally, what does that experience look like, and making sure it's consistent across the board.
Hmm.
Um, we put together this really cool culture guide. Culture is so big here. And so all of
Yeah.
those pieces together are all things that we rolled out in the last 10 months, and I think speaks volumes about the organization. I
Hmm.
think having that true sense of people centric, right? If we don't take care of our people, and if our internal team is not feeling the vibe, to use our pun, as intended, then we're not going to be able to portray that to our members and to consumers. It all starts in here. And I truly do believe that that's going to be one of our catalysts for growth in the future.
I would like to compliment. I mean, this is out of the blue, right? But the name of your credit union is very Gen Z focused. It's like, I mean, Vibe Credit Union. And Gen Zs use the word every single time, right? I think they should be able to vibe with Vibe Credit Union. So this is interesting.
We
Uh,
will use every name pun that we can, I'm telling you right now.
this might be a champion of yours, right? I mean, vibe with Vibe Credit Union. Gen Zs will love it.
Yep, yep. No, and honestly though, I mean, culture is not something that can be forced. And as a brand leader, we know that culture is your brand.
Yep.
If you're putting something out in the market and then a consumer comes into your space and it's completely different, well, it's never going to work. It's not going to
Yep.
be successful. And so I think that's one of the biggest differentiators at Vibe. And compared to past experience, that it is a true focus. It's not just a word that we say because it's trendy. It's the real deal here.
Absolutely. That's what I wanted to hear from about the vibe of Vibe Credit Union. That's interesting.
Hmm.
So now, Jennifer, you've been a credit union veteran for years now. One last question which I have is, I mean, where do you think is the movement going, right? As credit unions, I mean, there are a bunch of problems, or rather, I would say, common things, starting with your liquidity pressure, deposit gathering deposits is not easy, to using data analytics, to improving operational efficiency. There are multiple things that are going on, right? plus,
Hmm.
competing against the newer banks and the challenger banks. I take this example almost every single time that it takes 3.5 minutes to open a checking account with Chime, right? Or you get the best of experiences with the Chase. So what does it take for for a prospect or a member uh, to actually come and being a member of your credit union? That's one. And second, where is the movement going altogether? Where is the credit union movement going? People helping people is really at the center stage. But at the end of the day, what are your predictions for rest of the year and the next year? uh,
Yeah, so I think to your point, there are so many things changing. So many things have changed in the last 3 to 5 years, probably more so in the last 30,
yep, yep, yep.
thanks to continued advances in technology and
Mhm,
AI.
mhm,
It's just going to happen at a more rapid pace. And so I
mhm,
think one of the conversations that we had just had actually, and we
mhm,
continue to
mhm,
have, is how
mhm.
do we stay relevant? And
Yes,
what does that mean? And that always has to be on the forefront of our mind.
absolutely.
Um, our consumers have more choices than ever, and so I think the mindset kind of has to shift. So the
Mhm, mhm,
idea or the concept of a primary financial institution. I think if we are still trying to achieve PFI status, we're doing ourselves a disservice.
exactly.
Um, we know consumers have multiple relationships. I think, in
Yes.
fact, I saw somewhere it's up to
21.
7 or 8 different relationships.
The 20,
Um,
and for the last report, Jennifer, per
yeah,
cornerstone, uh, an average US consumer has 21
yeah,
financial relationship now. Customer lifetime value, and that's what Ron Shelton talks about, right? Customer lifetime value and
yeah,
PFI are of yesterday. Let's talk about something new now. So absolutely
yeah.
spot on.
Exactly. And so I think as an organization, we really need to decide what spot we want to hold in those relationships and become an expert in that. Changes
Exactly.
are coming that we are not aware of.
Yep.
And so I think as an organization, we really just need to make that commitment to meet those
Hmm, hmm.
challenges head on. And so for us at Vibe, there are 6 areas of focus at this point that we kind of keep in a bubble around
Hmm,
relevancy. And
hmm,
so for
hmm,
us, we have those conversations.
hmm.
What is this going to look like? What is that going to take? And I think as an organization, everybody needs to decide what that looks like because we can't be everything to everybody,
Exactly.
especially the way that things are today.
Exactly.
And so I think strategically, it's making that call as a leadership team and kind of forging that path forward and not necessarily
Mhm.
straying at the next shiny object because you might not need it. We just need to really hone in on what we're good at
Exactly.
and run with that.
Jen, this was really great, quick podcast. I appreciate all your time. This is obviously, I don't think I will do a justice by finishing it in one episode. Once we do the part two, maybe 6 months, 8 months down the line, we'll do an in
Mhm.
person one in Detroit. That'll be more fun. But this was
For
amazing,
sure.
right? Thanks a lot for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.